Hi everyone, it's Lottie from Cozy Paper Trails here, and in today's video I'm going to be testing out and swatching this Arrtx acrylic marker set. And this set has 60 colours in here, and I was kindly sent these by Arrtx themselves, so yeah, they just asked me if I could test them out and share them with you guys. So I said yes, because it was such great timing actually, because I've been really wanting to get into acrylic markers and I've been really liking using them at the moment. I've only got the 72 set of the Guangna acrylic markers at the moment, so it's really good to be able to try out a different brand and compare them, see what they're like, and also just gives me a better range of colours, I guess, because I've got this set and the other set, and they're obviously going to come with different colours. They're different brands. Yeah, it would just be really good to test these out and see what they're like, and I can let you guys know. These are brush markers, so they're not ones that you have to pump or anything like that, which is good. So I think they're probably quite similar to the Guangna ones in that respect. So we'll just have to see what the brush tip's like, how thick the brush tip is, and see how opaque they are, see how they work. But when you open them up, they come in little trays, so they're like this in the box, which is really cute, and then they come in trays, so they look like this. Let's just get one out and just see. I don't know if you have to shake well with the cap on before use. Not that I'm using it right this second, but yeah, so they look like this. They look like they've got quite a nice sturdy brush tip actually. It seems a bit more sturdy than the Guangna ones, so it'd be interesting to see how quick the tips wear out, but they look really nice. I like the design of them. Yeah, so let's just get them out and have a look. I am also going to swatch them out before I properly test them on a colouring page and see what the colour range is like once they're swatched, because obviously they're going to look slightly different on the cap than the actual like ink will look. Okay, then we've got some blues and greens. Looks like there's some nice kind of lighter muted blues, which is quite nice, and this really nice mint kind of green. I like that colour. It's got like a really nice pale yellowy cream, so those colours are promising. And then also some like purples, some more like muted-y kind of colours here, so these ones could be good for like skin tones and things like that. Oh, that one's got the cap. This isn't actually in properly, so whether that one will work or not, I don't know. We'll have to test them all out and see. And then finally this last tray, which is quite hard to get out of the bottom of the box. Oh, and ignore this, I've just realised I should have said that at the beginning of the video, but I've got acrylic marker, black acrylic marker on my hand. I was like trying to get it to work earlier and I used it on my hand, so you'll just have to ignore that. I haven't washed it off. And then finally these colours here. Don't know why there's like blue randomly in with these colours, but yeah, there's some browns, some greys, and a black. And there's also a white one, so that'd be quite interesting to see how opaque the white one is. It'd be good to compare the white specifically to some other whites that I have. So that is the full colour range here. As I said, this is a set of 60 markers, so there's 60 different colours, and they look really nice. There aren't many dark greens though. This is what I find I struggle with in acrylic markers in general. Like, they don't have many dark colours. This might be a good dark blue though, and that's the darkest green that we've got, which isn't super dark, but I will test it out and see what it looks like the ink, because it's hard to tell, like I said. And then the trays just slip back into this box. It's a really nice sturdy box, so it's not going to get ruined that easily, so that's handy. The only thing I would probably like is if the trays came with slots that the pen's slotted into, rather than just the tray like this, because they'll get mixed up easily. But that's like a small thing, that doesn't really matter at all, does it, at the end of the day? So I'm going to get my little table-y thing out, and I've got a swatch sheet ready, and then I'm going to start swatching them out. Okay, that is all the shades written out in the order that they are on the box here. So then I'm just going to go through them in order, swatch them all out, see what I think of the colours, and then at some point I will actually test them out on a colouring page and see how they work. Obviously the white is not going to really show up on here, but I'm going to swatch it anyway, see how the nib feels. They feel quite similar to the granular ones, but I think the tip is a little bit further, which is a good thing because I feel like they might fray less easily and might be better for like small detailed areas using the tip really finely. So I think they might be good for that, but we will have to see. I'm going to zoom you in a bit so you can see what I'm doing a little bit more. I'm just going to shake them between each one. I like that yellow, it's not too bright, it's quite a muted yellow. So shake between each use, which I don't normally do with the granular ones and they work fine, but maybe it just sort of loosens the ink a little bit, I don't know. That one's quite a bright yellow. But for a 60 set, it looks like there's quite a good range of colours. Not that I've swatched them all out yet, so I'll be interested to see how dark the dark colours are, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm really looking and hoping to get soon some darker shades. Yeah, the tips do feel really nice. That's quite a nice peachy, orangey shade actually. I don't think I've got one like that in my other set, so that's quite good. Oh, already got that one. I'm losing track of which ones I've done. Got quite a good range of yellows actually. Quite a nice orange. It's not too bright, because in my granular set they're very, very bright, kind of neonish looking oranges in the set that I've got. So it's quite nice to have some oranges that aren't so bright. And this one looks like it's going to be bright. This one's quite a bright orange, although it doesn't look as neon-y as the other ones that I like to see. Like a pale, oh, a real pale, so that'd be quite good for like skin tones and things like that. I don't know if I'm going to do maybe 2 layers of each pen just to see if the colour changes after 2 layers. Generally in a colouring book I would use 2 layers or more. A nice little reddish shade. There's not really any darker pinks. Oh yeah, there are actually. There are some darker pinks in another tray, so that's good. Yeah, I think I will do 2 layers. Okay, that's the first tray swatched. So now, ooh, yeah, that didn't come out evenly. Let's give that one a better shake. I'm definitely going to do 2 layers so I can see the full, like, what they actually look like. You see, that one's not mixed properly. Definitely do another layer of that one. I definitely need to make sure to shake them well for the first use. Just checking that I'm putting the right swatch under the right one. That's quite a nice neutral colour. Light pink. There are quite a few like nice light colours in this set I'm finding so far. Like these creamy colours and these colours, they're really nice. Because bright colours are quite easy to find in acrylic marker sets, but the really pale colours and the really dark colours are definitely less common. That's a nice pale pink as well. Ooh, that is a really nice light purple, like a lilac. That's really nice. You go on very nicely. Ooh, that's a nice brown. Very nice, I like that. And on to the next tray. So that is 2 trays done. We are halfway swatched. I like that light blue, that's a nice colour. Quite a nice, like, kind of lilac-ish colour, but a bit more muted. If I'm swatching them out of order, it's just because I'm sort of picking them up random. That's a nice blue. I like that. Still not a really deep navy blue, which is what I'm looking for. That is the darkest blue that I've got, though, acrylic marker-wise. I'm looking for, like, a really deep, rich navy blue. That is not bad, but yeah, I do really want a really deep blue at some point. Dark greenish sludgy colour. I haven't got a colour like that. And then I'm on to the final tray. So we've got a few more greens and some random colours like this, which is kind of more yellow, but I don't know, that's quite a unique kind of colour. We'll see how dark these greens get. These seem very juicy, these. I feel like they're a bit more juicy than the groundnars. And then a bluish colour. I don't know why that's not with the blues. See, the blues are not actually that light once it's dry. I need like a really, really pale blue. I like this colour. That is a nice colour. Okay, I've got 2 greens left. I think this is the darkest, which isn't bad. That might potentially be darker than the ones that I've got, which is good. That's quite a nice green, actually. A nice dark green. Oh, I wasn't even in thingy. That's the green. That's a nice dark green. Oh no. Oh, I've done it in the wrong place. Oh, never mind, I'll try and cover it up. Well, it'll be still wet at this point. Okay, let's do that shade in a minute because that's going where that is. So now we're going on to some brown colours. See if we've got a really nice dark brown at all. Ooh, that's quite a nice brown actually. I don't have a brown that dark. I think that's the only browns that it comes with, so that is not a lot of browns. I definitely would want a lot more browns. I don't know if they do a bigger set than this though. They might do, so I'll have to have a look and see if they do bigger sets. I know Arrtx do so many different sets of acrylic markers, so I'll have to have a look into it and see if they do any larger sets of these, because it would be good to have some more browns. They've got quite a nice range for a 60 set though, but just the browns aren't very many. Like there's just 2 browns. I do like this dark brown though. I don't have any dark browns like that, so just a few greys. And then finally the black. Ooh, that's nice and opaque. That is a nice black. Okay, and then we'll just we'll just test this one. Even though it's got that colour underneath. If I do a couple more layers, it might cover up that. What I'm going to do is, this is what they look like. Let me zoom out a little bit again. That is what all the shades look like. What I'm going to do is off camera, just quickly do another layer of all of them, just to make them a little bit more opaque on the swatch sheet, and then I'll get back to you. And then I won't film it now, but in another time I will do testing these in a Disney colour by number book, and I'll film the process and I'll let you know how they layer, how opaque they are, and that sort of thing. Okay, I've just done another coat on these. It's not going to focus. There we go. So they look much more opaque now I've done a second coat. I feel like when you first put them down, they looked super opaque, but then when they dried, they didn't look very opaque. They looked quite streaky, but after a second coat, they look really nice and a lot more opaque. So yeah, there was a really nice colour range. I just need to do another coat on, I need to do another coat on this one because of the mistake I made. But overall, yeah, I'm really pleased with the colour range of these. Definitely a lot less bright and a bit more muted than the Grabie 72 set that I've got, which is nice because now I've got like a wider range of colours to work with. I just would like a darker blue and more browns. That's all I'd say. But it's only a 60 set, so you're not going to have every single colour that you would like. But they do give a nice range, and I like this green. I like that we've got a darker green. The black looks very opaque. And I like some of these really pale colours. It'd be nice if there was an even paler blue, but obviously you can't have everything. But the range of blues that they've given is really nice. So I will get back to you once I've tested them out properly, and I will show you how they work, how they layer, and how they work in a colouring book. So I'm going to test these out in one of my Disney colour by number books and see how well they cover up the lines, how many layers I've got to do, how they go down, and that sort of thing. So because there's only 60 colours in this set, I want to go for, ignore this on my hand again, I always have something on my hand, some sort of pen or something, I swear. Yeah, because there's only 60 colours, I obviously don't want to pick a very complicated page with lots of colours, so I've picked out these couple of books. I've got Vitro Tome 2, which has some, I mean, some of them have quite a lot of colours still, but there are ones like this one, for example, that I did, which doesn't have that many colours. So this one's, I don't know, these two here don't have too many colours, so they could be possibilities, but I'm going to see which ones I can colour match the best. And there's also one in Family, which there's this one, which I did using the Grungnar acrylic markers. There's also a very similar page in this book, this one, which is using basically the same colours, and there's only 9 colours. So I was going to see if we've got colours that match these, and then maybe do this image, because there's some big spaces which would be quite good to test streakiness and things like that. So I'm just going to see if I can match the colours up, and if I can, then we will be testing them out on this page. So I've picked out these colours. If I zoom you in, I haven't got blues this dark, like this navy blue, so I've sort of just picked out 3 different blues, a light blue, medium and a darker one that I've got, a couple of greys, a pink, a red and a dark red, and black. I think I might actually use my black Posca pen, just because I'm there for the outlines and stuff, and I can't use a brush marker for outlines, it just doesn't work. So I've got my, is this the 0.7mm black Posca paint pen. So I'm just going to swatch these here and just make sure they match up enough, although that isn't as dark as that the colour, but it's fine, it will work. And then bright red, and this pink isn't the same type of pink either, but it will work, it will still work. Dark grey, lighter grey. That blues are a perfect match. So you can see these blues are definitely not as dark, but it will still work for the image. I think I had the same problem with the other one that I did. This blue was supposed to be a lot darker, I think, but it still worked. So this one should work as well. So what do I start with? I might start with the grey that's on the dogs. I'm going to start with the grey, which is number 5. It's all of these bits here. And I have been testing out these pens a little bit off camera, and I do definitely really like the nib on these. I feel like you can get quite precise, so you can do some small detailed bits with these. Obviously, tiny bits are still difficult, but you can be quite precise with these nibs. And something else I didn't mention before, also something else I like about these pens, is the fact that it's got these windows here, these little clouds, where you can actually see the ink. So you'll be able to see how low the ink is in the pen as well, which I think is really handy. It's a really cool feature. I'm just going to go over the grey, see how many coats of this we will need, and especially I'm interested in the larger areas. I'm not going to film the whole process of this for this test video. I will complete the page, but I will do quite a lot of it off camera. I'm just going to show you sort of bits and bobs as I do work on the page, so you can see kind of how they work. See, it seems to have quite a good coverage, but I definitely will need a couple more layers. So I'm going to do the rest of the grey off camera, and then I will come back. This grey is definitely too dark for this image, like I definitely needed a lighter grey, but there isn't a lighter grey in the set, so this will have to do. But yeah, I will come back when I've done the grey bits to show you. I've done one layer here of the grey and the pinks and the reds, just because, and this little grey here, because there wasn't much of it. I'll try and show you here. Yeah, you can tell that they need more layers. You can see the lines underneath, but that is quite normal for acrylic markers. So I reckon we probably need another 2 coats of this on all of the colours so far, except from the dark grey. That one's, you probably don't need another coat on that dark grey that's on the noses, to be honest. That's covered pretty well. But the other colours, I'd say probably we would need another 2 coats, so I'm going to get that done. I will say, when you apply the acrylic marker, they look super opaque when you first put them down, but when they dry, they go less opaque, if that makes sense. So they dry a bit more see-through, which isn't a problem because most acrylic markers, they do need multiple layers to be completely opaque anyway. But yeah, I'm going to just do all of the layers on these bits before we move on to the background, because the background's like massive big chunks of the same colour. So yeah, I will come and show you what it's looking like once I've added more layers of the colour. Okay, here we go. I've added more layers. So actually the grey, once you added a second layer, you didn't really need to add any more. I added a third layer in some of the larger bits. So this bit here, and this bit here. And the pink, I had to add 3 layers. The reds, 1 layer was fine. I'm going to move on to the background and we will see how they work for like big spaces. So we're going to start with the lightest blue. Shake that one up, which is number 4, which is all of this big background all around the back. So it's like the biggest area. So we're going to probably have to do multiple layers, but I'm just going to obviously start off with the 1 layer and see how opaque it is, how streaky it is, and see how many layers we need to do. They do go down really nicely though. They feel really nice to use, these pens. So because there's going to be black outlines around the dogs, I don't have to be super neat, which is what I like about the black outlines, is at the end you can just sort of clean it all up. I'm just going to zoom you in a bit there so you can see. So it goes down really opaque looking, but it does definitely dry a little bit more see-through. I don't feel like I'm going to need lots of layers of this colour though. 2, maybe 3 layers will probably be enough again, which is really good. So there's nothing worse than an acrylic marker that needs like 7-8 layers to be opaque. Like, I don't have time for that. Obviously you might expect that with some really pale colours. Like if this whole background was a pale cream or yellow, then you know, you might expect to do quite a few layers to cover up the lines completely. But yeah, and the ink flow in these pens is really good. They are very juicy. They're definitely more juicy than the Guangna acrylic markers. I know I keep comparing them to that, but that's just because they're the only other acrylic markers I've used. At the time of filming this, I will be testing out the Ohuhu ones though, but I think that video will actually be going up before this video. So at the time of filming this, I haven't tried out the Ohuhu acrylic markers, but the video for those ones will be going up first. I know it's a bit confusing, but okay, so I've got this huge massive area here to fill in. I'm trying not to smudge anything that's wet, but I'm not gonna do it in precise lines because if it's streaky I'm gonna do more layers anyway, so it'll cover it up. Look how nice they go down. They do go down really nice. Nice and juicy. See, I don't know how, because they're more juicy, they might run out quicker. I don't know. I'd have to test that out like long term, see how long they last. But I think because they're so juicy, maybe they need less layers, because so far I've not actually needed to do as many layers as I thought I would. So you can just proper scribble with these. It's really satisfying. And they don't go all dry. Like quite often with pens, when you scribble like this for ages, they go really dry. But these are actually staying super juicy, which is nice. I think these pens are really good for big areas. They're probably quite good for like other colouring books, like filling in backgrounds and things like that, like non-colour by number books, I mean, just like regular kind of colouring books. They'd be probably quite good for backgrounds because it would be really quick and easy. Okay, that is one complete layer. You can definitely see the streakiness and the patchiness of this. So I'm definitely going to need a couple more layers. I'm hoping 3 layers would be enough, but we will see how many more this needs. So in a second, when it's dry, which it basically is dry already, I'm going to go over with a couple more layers and just see how that goes. So I'll come back to you with how many layers that it ended up needing. But I'm thinking maybe 3. So this is done with 4 layers on the background. It's slightly streaky where it's still drying, but it's looking pretty opaque. I could have got away with just 3 layers, but I decided to do an extra layer just to make it super opaque. So now I'm going to move on to the floor, which is in a slightly deeper shade of blue, and then the darker blue for shadows around the bottom of the dogs. I have done some like dodgy line work here, so I'm going to go over that with a white acrylic marker at the end just to clean it all up. But let's get on with the next section. Not sure if this blue is actually going to be different enough. No, it probably will. It'll probably be fine. Oops. Just gone on to the section that's supposed to be darker, but it's fine, I can go over it. Already I feel like this blue is going to need much less layers. So maybe 2 layers, potentially 3, I don't know. But I feel like this one is, where it's drying slightly here, it looks more opaque than the other blue already. Which is kind of what I thought would happen, it being a slightly darker shade. I need to find some tape for these pages that works for the edges so that then I can peel it off and it's a nice crisp line. That would be cool. But I don't know, I've got some like Scotch tape which potentially might work. Might have to try that at some point because that would be really satisfying to peel off at the end of a page. Oh, I'm getting on my arm. I'm so messy when it comes to pens. I always end up with it at my arm or whatever. I'm just getting a bit of a mess. See, I'm getting it on my hand. I need to stop. I'm going to end up smudging it onto bits that I don't want to smudge onto. So I don't know why I did this line at the bottom first. I always do this. Let's just fill in this here and see how this goes on. Yeah, you can see the lines underneath, but I feel like one more layer might be enough to cover that up. Okay, I ended up adding 3 coats of this blue and then 2 coats of the darkest blue. And also I did shake one of the pens without the lid on, which don't do that because I splattered some colour. I've got a splodge there, splodge here, which I've tried to cover up. I'll put another layer over that bit. So put the cap on when you shake it for sure. It doesn't work, it will just go everywhere otherwise. And I also made a mistake here going over the tail, so I need to go over that with a white at some point. I will test out the black as well on this ear because this is like a big space. I don't want to use up my Posca pen for this, so once this is a bit less sticky, I'm going to go in with my black Posca pen and go over all of the outlines, and then at the end I will clear up with a white acrylic marker. I probably won't use the Arrtx one, I'll probably use this, which is the grabie acrylic marker, or is it grabie acrylic marker extra fine tip. I'll probably use this because I find this one super opaque and it's obviously a thinner tip, so it's easier to be more precise than with a brush tip. So yeah, once this is dry I will go in with this and then test out the back, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end and give you my final thoughts on these markers. And here is how it is looking. I've literally just got this ear to colour in black, so I'm going to use the black Arrtx one, and let's see how this turns out. Let me actually zoom you in. So you can see that up close, and you can see up close what it's all looking like. And I wonder whether I'll be able to get away with one coat of the black or whether I will still need more coats. Let's have a little look. It looks opaque now, but obviously, as I said, they dry a bit less opaque, so let's see what that looks like when it's dry. And then I've also got, where's the white acrylic one that I used earlier. I'm just going to clean up these lines slightly. And here I've smudged it just to clean it up a little bit. And I think the rest looks okay. I cleaned up the bit in the tail, that cleaned up well. And now I've added the rest of the colours. That grey doesn't actually look too dark. Like the light grey. I thought it looked too dark at first, but actually it looks good. That black, it's not dried. It's slightly streaky, so I might do another layer. But it's not see-through at all. So it looks pretty good. You could probably get away with one layer, but I'm going to do another just to get rid of a couple of those streaks. The second layer of the black is down on the ear, and we'll see how that dries, but it looks pretty opaque to me. That looks pretty good. So this is a whole page, completely just the Arrtx acrylic markers, apart from the Posca and the white one that I did use as well. But other than that, this is all completely just the Arrtx markers, and it looks really good. I love the finish of it. It looks really nice. So overall, these pens I think are so nice. They're really, really juicy. The nib's nice. The design is nice with the clouds on it. They're ones you don't have to pump. You can just use them straight away, shake them, and then use them straight away. I like the packaging. The only thing that I would say about these is they are quite pricey. So obviously, if you're on a budget, these probably wouldn't be the best ones to go for, although they might do sales sometimes or special offers on Amazon and stuff like that. But they are really, really lovely. They're just more on the expensive side, so you've just got to weigh up if you like the juiciness of them compared to other markers or whatever. But they have got a really nice colour range as well. Considering there's only 60 colours in the set, it has got a really nice colour range, and I like a lot of the lighter tones and stuff, so you can do a lot with these. And I'm hoping to try out these in some other colouring books as well, like not colour by numbers. Try and do some backgrounds and effects and stuff using them in like regular colouring in books. I think that would be quite cool to try out at some point. I'll leave the links to these in the description below. I'll also leave a link to these two pens as well in case you're interested, if I can find them on Amazon. I might have got these off eBay actually, I'm not sure, but anyway, I'll leave the links in the description below. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it kind of helped you figure out if you want to get these markers or not. And thank you so much for watching. Please give the video a like and subscribe if you'd like to see some more videos from me, and I'll hopefully see you on the next video. Bye for now.